What was Britain like before the arrival of the Vikings? When the Vikings appeared in the British Isles at the end of the 8th century, England did not exist. Instead, the parts of the island that now fall within England's modern boundaries comprised a number of kingdoms of various sizes. The most significant of them were Wessex in the southwest, Mercia in the Midlands, Northumbria in the north of England, extending into southern Scotland, and East Anglia covering the present-day counties of Norfolk and Suffolk. These kingdoms had developed as a result of the social, political, and economic changes brought about by the withdrawal of Roman authority at the beginning of the 5th century and a substantial migration from northern Europe and Scandinavia. They are generally known to us as the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms. The Vikings, who often took too predatory seaborne raids against their largely Christian neighbors, were not unknown to the inhabitants of Britain. Many Anglo-Saxon kings counted legendary Scandinavian heroes amongst their ancestors and shared cultural points of contact across the North Sea. The Northumbrian cleric Alcuin even criticized the monks of Lindisfarne Priory for seeking to resemble pagans in their beard and hair. If a fair characterization, it implies some prior interaction between Vikings and the British that didn't involve being on the wrong end of a swinging axe. But if there was a peaceful relationship in the years leading up to the first Viking raids, no one took the trouble to write about it. Instead, the Vikings entered written history in a maelstrom of fire and blood. The first Viking attack on what is now England that can be tied to a specific date was the raid on Lindisfarne off the northeast coast in 793, although other episodes, at Portland and perhaps elsewhere along the south coast, may have predated it. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicle, a collection of historical records in Old English chronicling the history of the Anglo-Saxons, provides a lurid account of the raid. The account begins with whirlwinds and flashes of lightning, and fiery dragons, and ends with heathen men wretchedly destroying God's church on Lindisfarne, with plunder and slaughter. Likewise, Alcuin, writing from the court of the Frankish king, Charlemagne, in continental Europe, described the church of St. Cuthbert in Lindisfarne spattered with the blood of the priests of God, despoiled of all its ornaments. Clearly, this was a traumatic episode that inflicted terrible physical, material, and psychological wounds on the people of Northumbria and beyond. The object of the raid, like the many others that followed around the coastline of Britain and Ireland, was to plunder portable wealth. This could take the form of silver and gold, but it also included human beings who were taken into captivity, to be sold as slaves at markets around the Baltic or transported even further east, to what is now Russia, Ukraine, Central Asia, and beyond. Raids like these, comprising a few ships of opportunistic Viking warrior seamen targeting poorly defended and unsuspecting communities in coastal locations, continued around the British Isles for several decades. Things escalated after 835 when larger Viking fleets began to appear and force confrontations with royal armies.